So, as you all are in 9th standard, your science subject has been divided into two sections, Science 1 and Science 2. Student, as from chapter number 6, you're starting with your Science 2 section. So, student, today we are going to start a new and an interesting topic from Science 2, that is chapter number 7, Energy Flow in an Ecosystem. So, student, let's begin. Students, today's key topic, that is today you are going to learn in this chapter about ecosystem, what is meant by ecosystem, energy flows in an ecosystem, food chains, food web, and the energy pyramid. So students, let's have a look on factors related to ecosystem. Students, do you know what is meant by ecosystem? So, in a simple definition, ecosystem is that it is a community or group of living organisms that live in and interact with each other in a specific environment. So, student, I told you ecosystem is a community of living creatures such as plants, animals, including humans, and microorganisms in a certain region. Each member of ecosystem interact with each other and the non-living part of its environment. Non-living part of environment is called abiotic factors. For an example, you can say soil, minerals, rock, etc. and geographic features. So, the interaction between biotic factors, that is plants, insect, human, etc. and abiotic factors are called ecosystem. So student, let's begin with the topic ecosystem. Students, I told you about simple definition of ecosystem. Now let's have a look on vast definition of ecosystem in detail. Student, an ecosystem is a community of living organisms in conjunction with the non-living component of their environment, interacting as a system. These biotic and abiotic components are linked together through nutrient cycles and energy flows. Energy enter the system through photosynthesis. As all of you are aware that plant prepare their own food and the process is called photosynthesis. So, energy enters the system through photosynthesis and is incorporated into plant tissue. By feeding on plants and on one another, animals play an important role in the movement of matter and energy through the system. They also influence the quantity of plant and microbial biomass present. By breaking down dead organic matter, decomposers release carbon back to the atmosphere and facilitate nutrient cycling by converting nutrients stored in dead biomass back to a form that can be readily used by plants and other microbes. As you can see in the image, every kind of organisms is present in an ecosystem. They interact with the help of energies flowing. So sun is the only method through which the energy enters into the system. Let's have a look energy flow in an ecosystem. Student, we have already learnt the classification of living organisms. according to the mode of nutrition into producers, consumers, saprotrophs, that is saprophytes, and decomposers. Consider the various trophic levels of the ecosystem around you as given below. So, ecosystem has been divided into primary consumers, secondary consumers, that is carnivores, apex or top consumer, that is carnivores, and mixed consumer is omnivores. Let's have a look in detail about these levels. So let's have a look on primary consumers, that is herbivores. Students, you all know that herbivores are those who only feed on grass plants. Okay, so primary consumers are heterotrophs that feed on producers. Since producers, that is autotrophs, are typically plants, primary consumers are herbivores. And secondary consumers feed on primary consumers. They are directly dependent on producers. Primary consumers are directly dependent on producers. For an example, grasshopper, squirrel, as you can see, cow, rabbit, giraffe, etc. So next is secondary consumers, that is carnivores. Students, secondary consumers feed on primary consumers, that is herbivores, as their food. For an example, frog, owl, fox, etc. Next is apex or top consumers, that is carnivores. These apex consumers use herbivores and carnivores as their food. No other animals feed on top consumers. Example of this are tiger, lion, etc. Students, and the last trophic level is mixed consumer, that is omnivores. So let's have a look on this. Mixed consumers feed on herbivores, carnivores, and producers. Example of these consumers include bear, chimpanzee, as well as we human being, and etc. Let's start with the next topic, that is food chain. So, what is food chain? Student, as you know, interaction goes on continuously between producers, consumers, and saprophytes. There is a definite sequence in this interaction, which is called food chain. As you can see in the image, there's a food chain. Lion feed on deer and deer feed on trees. In the second sequence, you can see eagle feed on snake, snake feed on frog, and frog feed on flies, and flies feed on flower. And the last sequence, you can see bird feed on larger fish, feed on smaller fish, and smaller fishes feed on flower. So student, you can see that a chain is being formed. There's a sequence, there's a proper sequence, one about the another. Okay, so this is nothing but a food chain. If one of the organism disappear, the entire chain is going to be disturbed. As you can see, the second image is given of a desert food chain as well as ocean food chain. Now let us see about food web. Student, right now you had learned about food chain. That food chain consists of 4 to 5 or more links. As I given you 2 to 3 examples of a food chain. So an ecosystem consists of many food chains that are interconnected at various levels. This is nothing but a food web. So student, as you can see in the diagram, a flowering plant, lavenders, is being eaten by the butterfly. Okay. Again, the same butterfly is eaten by the dragonfly, by frog. Okay. Then mangoes are being eaten by the fruit fly. Then that fruit fly is being eaten by thrush, by dragonfly, by frog. Okay. So for one, there's many options are available. So if one of the organism disappear, the system is not going to get disturbed. So student, let us see food chain versus food web. Food chain is a linear sequence of organisms through which nutrients and energy flows from one organism to another, while a food web is a network of different food chain is called food web. In food chain, it consists of only one straight chain, but in food web, it consists of many interconnected food chains. In food chain, if one group of an organism disturbs, the whole chain will become unstable. While in food web, the food web does not become unstable by the removal of one group of organisms. In food chain consists of only 4 to 5 trophic levels of different species, but food web consists of numerous trophic levels also of. Let us begin with the next topic, that is the energy pyramid. Students, in energy pyramid, each level in the food chain is called a trophic level. A trophic level is the step at which the organism obtains its food in the chain. The amount of matter and energy gradually decreases. Okay. Once again, I am repeating, the amount of matter and energy gradually decreases from producer at lowest level to top consumers at the highest level. That means during starting, that means the producer are going to have a high energy as compared to the secondary as compared to the tertiary consumers. They will be having lowest energy. An energy pyramid is a geographical representation showing the flow of energy at each trophic level in an ecosystem. As you can see in the image, it's an energy pyramid. It consists of producers, primary consumers, that is herbivores, secondary consumers, that is small carnivores, and the tertiary consumer, that is large carnivores. So student, the first producers, they are called producers. Then primary consumers, they are called first trophic level. Secondary consumers, they are called second trophic level, and the tertiary consumers, they are called third trophic level. This is the energy pyramid. As you can see, all producers in the ecosystem, that is plants, producers, herbivore first trophic level, carnivores second trophic level, and the omnivores are third trophic level, as I told you. Student, an introduction to a scientist. Lindemann in the year 1942 studied the food chain and energy flow through it. Charles Elton, a British scientist, first proposed the concept of ecological pyramid in the year 1927 after his study of the tundra ecosystem of the Bear Island in England. Hence, this pyramid is also called the Eltonian pyramid. Student, this diagram shows the energy transfer that take place at each trophic level. There are different levels of energy exchange in the food chain. The initial quantity of energy goes on decreasing at every level of energy exchange. For an example, phytoplanktons, they will be having energy of 10,000 kilocalorie, but as soon as they transferred, like for tertiary consumer, that is human beings, they will be having the energy of only 10 kilocalories. That means the energy keeps on decreasing from producer to top consumers. Similarly, the number of organisms also decreases from the lowest level to the highest level. This pattern of energy exchange in an ecosystem is called a pyramid of energy. Student, after the death of apex consumer, that is top consumer, their energy becomes available to the decomposers. Decomposers means bacteria, okay, who decomposes the dead bodies. Okay, so their dead bodies, their energy becomes available to the decomposers. Fungi and other microorganisms decompose the bodies of dead animals. They are called decomposers. In the process of obtaining food from the remains of organisms, decomposers convert them into simple carbon compounds. This substance easily mixed with air, water and soil, from where they are again absorbed by plants and incorporated into the food chain. You can now see that due to the food web formed by the various mode of nutrition, energy and various nutrients circulate continuously in the ecosystem. Student, now think why sun is referred as one-way transport of energy. So student, because the sun is the most important source of energy in any ecosystem. Green plants of ecosystems store some of the solar energy in the form of food by the process of photosynthesis. Before reaching the decomposers, this energy is passed on from one trophic level to the next, as we have seen now. So decomposers dissipate some amount of, that is spread some amount of energy in the form of heat, means give out. However, no part of the energy ever returns to the sun. Okay, all the energy comes from sun. It circulate into the environment, but it will not return to the sun again. Hence, such passage of energy is referred to as one-way transport. So student, based on this video, I am going to give a small assignment. So write a note on ecosystem. Compare between food chain and food web. Draw neat and level diagram of energy pyramid. Student, today we are going to stop here. In next upcoming video, we are going to learn the further topic of this chapter. So student, if you like my video and you want me to make such an educational video, please do like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel. Till then students, take care. Thank you.